Welcome to the host Sam's. My name is Malcolm Lee. We're about to get into a special tutorial today. If you've always wanted to make a beat, but you had no idea where to start, today is for you. So we're gonna be making a beat in Studio One, but the knowledge that you get from this, you'll be able to apply to Fruity Loops, Logic, Ableton. It doesn't really matter. Whatever program you're gonna use, you can apply the knowledge to that. So let's get started. So I have my timeline up here, and you can see the timeline is broken down in bars. We have our first bar, we have our second bar, we have our third bar, our fourth bar, and so on and so forth. Each bar is broken into subdivisions. Each bar has 4 beats, which is the 1.2, meaning the second beat of the first bar, 1.3, third beat of the first bar, 1.4, fourth beat of the first bar, and then we have the solid 2, which is the first beat of our second bar. Down here we have our tempo. So I'm gonna click my tempo and we're gonna put in say 90 beats per minute. I'm also going to turn on my metronome just so that we can hear the metronome is going to give us a click on every beat, and every time it comes to the first beat of a new bar, it's going to give us a slightly louder click. Let's listen. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab our range tool. I'm going to come over here to bar 3, highlight all the way to bar 1. I'm going to press the letter P, and that's going to give me my loop brackets, because all we're going to do is really be working on 2 bars. I'm going to come down here, click this, which is going to turn on my loop. So now when my playhead gets to the end, it's just going to loop back to the first bar, which is exactly what we want. So let's start off with our drums. Drums is a great way to understand how the grid works and how the piano roll works. So I'm going to go to Instruments, open up Studio One tab, open up Impact, and I'm going to go with the Chillers Joint drums. So here we have our drums, and these drums can be controlled by any MIDI controller that you have, but for today, this is for the absolute beginner. So I'm assuming that many of you do not have a MIDI controller, which is A-okay, because the mouse is super effective to make beats. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here. I'm going to double click, which is going to create a MIDI clip. This is where we're going to add our drums. I double click the MIDI clip, and it's going to open up our piano roll. Notice in the piano roll, we have our first bar, and you can see the subdivisions of our first bar. So I'm just going to zoom out so we can see our entire loop. We also can see all the drums that we have right here. So I'm going to find a snare drum that I like. I'm feeling this one. And I'm going to pencil my snare drum into every second beat and every fourth beat of each bar. What is the second beat? Let's see. This is my first bar. Second beat of the first bar is this 1.2. So I'm going to double click right there and double click right here on the 1.4. And I'll do the same thing for my second bar. 2.2 and 2.4. Now let's listen to that. The snare is super clutch, and I like to start with the snare when teaching how to make beats because it really anchors the beat down and it lets us know our tempo. You could damn near rap to this already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off my metronome, and next I'm gonna add my bass drum or my kick drum. So I'm gonna find one that I like. Really like this one. And we're just gonna add it to the first beat of each bar. Then I'm gonna look for a closed hi-hat. And I'm gonna start off with the very first beat. Then I'm gonna skip a square and go to the next one. And I'm gonna continue this pattern all the way through. I'm gonna turn off this audition note so we can't hear it when I click it in. And now we already have a pretty much basic beat. This is the basic beat that I teach everybody when I'm first teaching them how to make beats. And from here, we'll go ahead and add extra drums just to kind of make it our own. So I'm gonna stay on my kick, my bass drum too, and just add some extra ones in there. Notice I'm experimenting with other drums. This is a great time to check out other drums, see how they sound in your beat. It's also a good idea to maybe double up on some drums every now and then. All right, I think I like the way that sounds. So next we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna open up my MyTi and we're gonna look for some melodic instruments. So I'm gonna go with a bell. I love bell sounds. Let's check out this soft bell. I'm just gonna drag it right under my drums. I'm gonna X out of this for now. And just like we did with our drums, I'm gonna double click to make a MIDI clip. Double click the clip to open the piano roll. Notice the piano roll looks a little different from our drums. In Studio One 4, they have what's called the drum mode, which looks like this, versus your traditional piano roll. So if you're using another DAW, another program, your piano roll probably looks like this, which is perfect for melody. So we're pretty much gonna do the same thing. Same thing we did with the drums, only we're gonna be making a melody. And we're gonna limit ourselves to only these white notes. So wherever we see these grayed out or darker lines, we're gonna stay away from those. So let's go ahead and make a melody. All right, it's something. Next up, we're gonna add our bass. So I'll just throw on this first bass right here and we'll do the same thing. Another thing to note when adding melodic instruments rather than your drums is when we pencil in a note, we can paste it out to make it a little bit longer. Since this is a bass instrument, we're gonna go a little bit deeper. So let's bring it down here. And the first note we hit was this note, which is an A. We hit A3. So let's start off with A1. I like the way that sounds. So notice we have three elements to our beats. We have drums, we have a melodic instrument, and then we have a bass. So that's a great base for a beat. Let's start sequencing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight everything. I'm gonna zoom out, and I'm just gonna press D to duplicate. We're gonna work on 8 bars, so I'm gonna duplicate to the beginning of the 9th bar. And for the first 2 bars, I want only my melody in there. Second 2 bars, we're gonna bring in the drums, and then we're gonna end out with everything. And just to make it fresh, we're gonna cut that out. Let's see how that sounds. Sounds like something from like a corny anime or like an old school Zelda game or something like that, but it sounds solid to me. And I think this is a good spot to stop. So congratulations to you, because you just made your first beat. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back. Great job. Notice we didn't use anything special. This was all stock plugins that you'll get if you download Studio One 4. Whatever program you download, be it the demo version or the full version, you're gonna have some good stock plugins to use to get started. Once you get a little bit better, there's plenty of free VSTs and drum packs that you can download on Google. Just take some time and research it. But once again, great work, y'all. My name is Malcolm Lee. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and come back for more. Peace and blessings, y'all.